Hey, what is up? We're here with a new episode of Comic Book Movie News, and we have some regular movie news in here because yesterday we just talked exclusively about the move to HBO Max because that was a pretty monumental thing.
Mhm.
So we're going to start off with Hawkeye. Now, we've seen production photos. We know Hailee Steinfeld is playing Kate Bishop alongside with Jeremy Renner. Uh, they have the dog. You know, that dog looks adorable. Anything with a dog is,
I also think they have cast like supporting cast too. I don't know if you.
yeah, they have some supporting cast that they have kind of unofficially listed. If we want to go over that, just give me half a second. But what were your thoughts on the first images that you saw?
Um, I mean it's hard because again, like these were like official production stills. These were like paparazzi like taken stuff. But I mean, Haley Steinfeld looks great as Kate Bishop, even though we literally see like the most we've seen her in, she's wearing like a purple like shirt and pants and like a trench coat, and she's carrying a bow and she's like walking her dog. Like it's like not her official costume, but she looks great nonetheless. Kind of what we were saying. What was it when we were talking about like because some of the other Disney Plus shows wrapping up, like at a previous episode or something. Like I wasn't expecting Hawkeye to like start production. I for some reason I just was like, there's so much happening. They're not even really done with Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, at least to my knowledge. Like they're just only just wrapping that up. So the fact that they're already like getting out of this, and I think like Miss Marvel and whatever, that's pretty cool. And it's good to hear that they're back at it. Um, I don't know. I'm excited. This is like Hawkeye's been a like this. I don't know what the right word is to describe in the midst of the MCU because he's both like an outlier and he's both like such a critical part of it. Even though he hasn't been in so many things, he's never really been the center of it. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. Avengers Endgame gave him such a great like foundation for like story arcs and like exploration of the character. So I'm intrigued. I'm Jeremy Renner playing off Haley Steinfeld, I think is going to be a really interesting dynamic. So that's definitely going to be cool. I can't wait to see what they're doing. As for the cast, did you find the
Yeah, I have the cast list right here. Doesn't say who they're necessarily playing, but uh, Vera Farmiga, Florence Pugh, who's also in the upcoming Black Widow movie, which is
right?
very interesting. We don't know anything about her character though, so we don't know how she's going to be involved in this series or even have an idea because we haven't seen her on screen yet. But it seems like she'll be carrying the new Black Widow essentially.
So, if I remember correctly, there's an actor named Tony Dalton.
Correct.
He's on the show Better Call Saul. You're just like when you start showing like the show's fourth season, and he's great. Saul is wrapping up its run like next year, so I'm actually surprised he managed to get in Hawkeye filming. Now that he was able to come be a part of it, I'm definitely excited for just because like his character on Saul is like really, he's just a great villain on the show. So if he is playing a villain, then all the more for it. Even if he's not, he has a lot of charisma, so that's going to be exciting. Vera, I loved from Bates Motel. She deserved way more Emmy nominations than she got for that role as Norman Bates' mother, Norma. So to hear that she's playing Kate Bishop's mother is well, the fact that she's part of it is pretty exciting just because she is such a capable actress. Part of me kind of wishes that she wasn't just Kate Bishop's mother, because like I mean, depending on how they write the role, maybe this is like a Michael Caine as Alfred, where it's like a really good supporting role, but I guess we'll see. She's just like a really good actress, so like I'm excited to see how she factors in amidst everything.
Yeah, definitely. So Tony Dalton, I believe, is playing Jack. I don't know how to say the character's last name, but he's basically a mentor to Hawkeye, but is sometimes a hero, sometimes a villain, I guess, in Marvel Comics. So I'd assume he'd be playing a villain role.
Okay, gotcha.
That would be my guess. Um, it's really interesting. I wonder how Black Widow at any part will connect into Hawkeye, or if it's just like Black Widow's its own story, and then Florence Pugh just happens to be in this Hawkeye series.
Right.
But it's pretty cool. I mean, Florence Pugh's a great actress. What was it? 2019 was like the year of Florence Pugh.
Yeah, she like popped off all over the place.
And Hailee Steinfeld's a great actress. Jeremy Renner's a great actress. So if those are the main cast, I don't know how involved Florence Pugh is, but if those are like the main cast members, I'm down.
I feel like they're definitely trying to set up some sort of like Young Avengers initiative. Kate Bishop, new Black Widow, like um, Miss Marvel. They're definitely trying to push some sort of Young Avengers initiative. So I feel like that's something going to be a critical component for Phase Four. So that's definitely going to be something interesting to watch unfold.
Hey, I'd be down. I'd be down. But we're gonna move on to our next topic. The Batman production has rumored to be wrapping soon or to have already wrapped. It's supposed to come out in 2022 though.
Yeah.
And if it's wrapping now, that means it has more than a year of post-production. What are your thoughts on hearing the news that it wrapped and that you're going to have to wait over another year to see the Batman?
If you had told me this 3 weeks ago, I'd have been pretty upset. But given that we're now hearing this like only a few days after the HBO Max news, I couldn't be happier because I feel like it just like we were talking in yesterday's episode, like how we were like which films we would like truly like make an effort to go see regardless and whatnot. Like at least like knowing it's coming in 2022 and like assuming Warner Brothers is not like actually we're gonna keep trying this streaming theater double deal. Like that means we're gonna go see it in theater. Like there's no way else where no one else is gonna see it. That means everyone is gonna be able to like go back to the theaters and watch Batman be on the big screen since like 2017 with Justice League. So in a way it worked in a really weird way it worked out just because like that's another one that I can't picture watching on like on my like laptop or whatever. Like that's like a big screen, like um adventure, it's a superhero, it's Batman, like and the fact that again, like no one assumedly would have the option of like, well, I could just go on my iPad and watch it on HBO Max. Like it worked out really well that um it's gonna be in 2022. So I think the year long wait will be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I agree. That in a weird way, it's a good thing because it means it's one less film that we have to see on HBO Max, or it's the same day release. I mean, I'll be going to theaters when it's safe to, and going to see these movies in theaters because this whole HBO Max thing, frankly, has me pissed. I understand it. Well, if you don't want to like keep on pushing films back and you want to release them, but to commit to it for the full year when theaters are going to need your help in the second half of the year, just getting people back in seats, I think it's a really bad. I don't know if it's bad business, but it's bad for the movie industry. I think it's not good for filmmakers. People who get back end points are still getting their back end points. They changed the math for that, so it all works out. But in the future, imagine you don't get back end points on film. So, you know, the actors, the crew, those sort of people, they may not be getting as much money because in the future negotiations for contracts, they're not going to put that in. They're not going to say, oh, you're going to get back end points on HBO Max. That's just gone. So, you know, it's maximizing studio money and limiting, you know, cast and crew money.
As I said yesterday, there's no going back from this, like from what, not to bring it again back to the Max, but you know, industry is forever changed by this. So like, you know, what happens happens, and again, the Batman is so far off that like it has escaped the umbrella of what Warner's plan. So glad to see like at the very least like confirmed like it'll be in theaters regardless.
Right. With that, we're going to move on to Wonder Woman. Now, the first reviews are in, and they are pretty spectacular. And of course, we haven't been able to see the movie. We're not popular critics or anything that get advanced screenings, though.
Not yet.
I wouldn't mind that. But we have people saying, you know, we have one person on Twitter saying, saw Wonder Woman in an IMAX theater. First time seeing a movie in a theater since the pandemic. No matter what system you have at home, nothing will ever replace the magic of seeing a movie on a huge IMAX screen. Speaking of what we said before, we have another person, Brandon Davis, saying that they literally made an 80s movie, making it really unique, but it feels like it's really grand, but at the same time the story's even more contained. And Gal Gadot is amazing again. And we have another person saying that Pedro Pascal and Christian Wiig kill it as Maxwell Lord and Cheetah. People are really excited about Patty Jenkins' direction. We have some people saying that, you know, it's close. Is Wonder Woman better? Is Wonder Woman 1984 better? They're saying this is a big swing with the story, and Patty Jenkins and the whole team that created Wonder Woman in 1984 hit it out of the park. So Nick, what are your thoughts hearing these first reviews?
Well, first I'll admit I'm always like tepid about like first reviews because I've had the experience where I'm like, oh wow, this is great to hear. The movies are great, but then when critics go like in depth, then it's like their ratings are end up being like 6 out of 10. I'm like, well, this doesn't match the tone you had in your initial tweet. But taking it on these, I am glad to hear that it's getting good reviews. I mean, I've enjoyed all the promotional like material they've done so far. I've enjoyed both trailers, all the looks, the first looks. Um, it's a Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot, Chris Pine. You know, they were such a great trio for the first film, and then you add like Pedro Pascal, hugely underrated actor, and Kristen Wiig, who I think a lot of people like underestimate in just in terms of like versatility. Like, I think they had the ingredients for like a great film, and so I'm glad to hear that. Apparently, it's paying off. For me, it's my last scheduled film to see on in 2020. There's probably a few things that like I'll be seeing like after, but like in terms of new releases, like this is it for me. To like Christmas Day, can't think of a better way to spend it since I won't be able to see like extended family. So good to hear that it's gonna be a good time, and good to hear that like it's sounds to be quite successful.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited reading through this first reviews because I was not a fan of the trailers, to be honest.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought they were like okay.
Mhm.
I thought Cheetah didn't really look good as
Mhm.
far as the CG, but you know what? I haven't seen a single complaint about the CG of Cheetah.
Good
And
to
I
hear.
also wonder if that could be you're not seeing it on the massive 4K
Right.
theater. Everyone, or at least not everyone is. Some of them are just getting screeners and seeing it at their home. So I'd be curious about that's what I'm still curious about. Maybe it was unfinished. Maybe it's just that one shot didn't look great, but that had me worried, and I'm not hearing anything about that at all. I mean, Mando going against Wonder Woman, I'm down for that.
Right.
That's a battle I'll take. And I'm just excited, man. It raised my excitement a level, which I think is a good thing because I was like kind of worried going into Wonder Woman 1984.
Mhm.
Um, but from everything I'm reading, I mean, unless this is like the vocal minority that's talking out while the rest of the people who didn't like the movie are just like hiding behind the curtains.
Right.
It seems like this is a really good movie, which is a bummer that it's not just in theaters, I mean, I understand because of the pandemic, but it's really too bad, especially when you hear about people who've seen it in theaters and IMAX and they're like, it's jaw dropping.
Mhm.
That's really a bummer, but I'm excited to see it when it comes out Christmas Day, correct?
Christmas Day. Yep. December 25th.
And with that, we're going to move out of the comic book movie news section and into the movie news section. So, Nick, let's start off with Oscar Isaac is cast in Metal Gear Solid. What did you think about this news?
I haven't. I admittedly have only played one Metal Gear Solid, and it's one of the first few games my dad has the literally the first PlayStation. So I would play it on that. Graphics were incredibly crappy compared to what we know today, but like I just have fond memories of like it's just like a really great like stealth and like spy military oriented game, and I think Oscar Isaac is like just like a great actor in general. He's just one of those people like you put him anywhere and it'd be hard to like even as Poe Dameron man really did what he like could against with the material he was given. He really elevated it, I think. So I think it's definitely gonna be fun. It's like a military like spy type hero. I think Isaac is more than capable of doing doing something like that. He can be badass. He can be like funny on his own end. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I also believe the movie is directed by Jordan Roberts of Kong Skull Island. So and I think that movie on an action level, I think that was pretty enjoyable. So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be an interesting duo. No word yet on when the film's out, but definitely great to see Oscar Isaac just again snatching up roles left and right. We had the Moon Knight rumors or more kind of confirmation few months ago at this point, and now this. So it's pretty cool all around.
Yeah, I mean the dude's landing roles, so I'll give him that.
Mhm.
I don't know a lot about Metal Gear Solid, so I'm not like a big fan of something, but Oscar Isaac has been one of those actors who, whenever I see him, he's in a good film, except for maybe Triple Frontier. I don't think
Yeah,
I'm much of a fan of that, but other they take that one aside.
yeah,
Um, I'm a massive fan of him, so I'll be excited to see that when it comes out.
for sure.
And then there's other news that Margot Robbie may replace Emma Stone in Damien Chazelle's Babylon. What are your thoughts on that?
First, I'm excited to hear that Damien Chazelle is coming back. He's like a favorite of mine from Whiplash to La La Land. I even really enjoyed First Man, his Armstrong biopic. Um, it's a little not disappointing because I love Margot Robbie, but it's like Emma Stone and Dame Chazelle like work so well in La La Land. That was when she got her Oscar. Um, so you kind of had that like just director performer relationship going on, but I think it was just due to scheduling conflicts that prevented this. And so Margot Robbie, like if you check out her Spotlight video, she's great. She's awesome. I love her. Like she will most certainly do fine. I also believe the male lead is Brad Pitt. So I think
Right.
Brad Pitt against Margot Robbie, they already kind of were against it. Not really. They didn't share a scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but they were there. They know each other. So I think for a chance to them to interact is going to be a lot of fun. And it's just great to see Chazelle back to directing. Feels like it's been forever since like First Man came out in, what was it, 2017, 2018?
Ooh, that's a good movie release dates question.
You
I'm
like
gonna
it
go
was
with 2018.
2018? Okay. Yeah, so like even though it's been 2 years, it feels like it's been forever since I've seen him up to something. So it's cool to see him already assembling his new project.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, this film is a period piece. It's a R-rated. Basically takes place when Hollywood's shifting from silent films to talking films. Uh, this was acquired by Paramount late 2019, I guess, so almost a year ago. And it's supposed to come out Christmas Day 2021. So it seems like from what I've read that they like the script a lot and think it could be a Oscar type movie. I mean, the release date kind of puts it in that conversation too with the late year release date. Um, so it was apparently supposed to be produced by Tobey Maguire's a producer on it.
Spider-Man's back.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Margot Robbie replacing Emma Stone, scheduling conflicts. I mean, I really like Emma Stone as an actress. I think she's pretty great,
Mhm.
but I don't I don't know. I don't know what the role is, but
Yeah,
I'm more excited for a film that has Margot Robbie in it than I am for one that has Emma Stone in it,
fair.
unless it's Zombieland,
Yeah,
because
I got
I will always watch a Zombieland film.
it. Mhm.
And then Brad Pitt, dude, Brad Pitt is killing it lately. He's really landing a lot of roles. I think he's in a different phase of his career where
He
he's
really,
more he's not worried about money or anything or doing like those rom-coms. Like he's in a spot where he's always going to be Brad Pitt, so he's just doing whatever he wants.
in that he's hitting that zone between Once Upon a Time, Ad Astra. We talked about Bullet Train a few weeks ago. He's he's fully in his zone, I think. So that's pretty awesome from him.
Yeah, and we're going to move on to our next subject and our final one. Ridley Scott's Gucci cast: Jeremy Irons, Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Jared Leto, and Al Pacino in the cast. And yes, you heard me right. All those people are in the cast. Um, so basically, this is about the ex-wife of Maurizio Gucci, who Lady Gaga will portray. And she's been abandoned after 12 years of marriage by her husband in the 80s for a younger woman. And essentially, she tried to kill her ex-husband or assassinate him later on. I don't know exactly where the story takes place, whether it's during that or during the trial afterwards, or if it's going to be in between. But what are your thoughts on hearing the cast and then hearing the idea or the basis of the film?
There are so many Oscar nominations in this cast. Like, it's just like really cool. Like, you got Jeremy Irons, hot off of Watchmen. I believe he's playing uh, Maruccio. Oh God, I could butcher that. But I believe he's playing his dad. Maruccio himself is being played by Adam Driver,
Right.
who, kind of similar to Oscar Isaac. He's now off his like Star Wars contract, so like there he's just like going out there like doing all sorts of new stuff. So I'm excited to see that. Just the idea, just that trio alone, Irons, Driver, Gaga. It's going to be really really cool, really interesting. And then you got Jared Leto and Al Pacino in the supporting. Like, this is such like a iconic like cast in the making. Like, it's just so many like really recognizable people who have been like in a lot of like big projects over the past few years that have been like on the sidelines. So I think it's definitely going to be interesting just to see everyone play off each other. And then you got Ridley Scott under the direction, which I kind of think Ridley Scott's a little underrated as a director. I'm intrigued to see how he does with this. I've only seen Blade Runner and Black Hawk Down, a war film from him. So the idea of this more slower, like historical tale, I'm interested. I'm intrigued to see how he like just assembles all these like great pieces together.
Yeah, and I think the big talk is Lady Gaga. Because we've only seen her in A Star is Born, and as great, I think she's really, really great. She was just pushing the edge of like almost being in contention for an Oscar, not quite, for nomination the year she played her character in A Star is Born. I'll be curious because this isn't in her comfort zone at all.
Yeah.
She's been an actress before, but you never know when someone's good at acting as someone similar to them and when someone's acting as a completely different character.
Right.
And before, her character was somewhat similar to her, and this new character is going to be completely different. So I think it seems like a lot of people who are casting films have faith in her that she's a really, really good actress, and I'll be really interested how her performance turns out in the film.
She's also in Bullet Train, so like her too. She's like seems to be entering this zone of like going out for these big roles. And like Bullet Train is also, like, as we said in our previous episode, like that's an action film. That's a pure action film. And here we have historical drama. So she's definitely going to be like put into these different situations. And you're right. Like, it'll be interesting to see like the levels of her versatility, like to see how she adapts to these different stuff.
Yeah. And with that, that wraps up this episode of Comic Book Movie News and Movie News. Let us know what you thought in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.